YouTube, Rook here from Rook Geek Goodness, my little channel web for all things geeky and cool. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to the Funko review and unboxing video. And I'm super excited, super stoked, to talk about this item with all my viewers and subscribers. Again, I want to thank everybody who subscribes to the channel. New videos come out every Tuesday and Thursday. If you did not know that, if you're new to the channel, thank you very much for watching this video. Always go in the comment section. Let me know what you think of this particular video. If you want to see more content like this, please let me know. But this video basically is 2 years in the making. I did my very first wave of Iron Maiden pops back in 2020. I'll put a link above my head. Click that eye. It'll be in the description box of this video. That video did really, really well back then. Still does well to this day, which is still surprising to me. Basically all my Maiden videos do really, really well on my channel. Again, I want to thank everybody who watches that content. But this is going to be wave 2 of the Funko Pops or Pop Rocks. There are 4 pops in this wave with a 5th, which was a chase, which is unfortunately not going to be in this video. I'll put an image up right now so you can see what it looks like in B-roll, but I was not able to get my hands on it. It was pre-ordered. It kept getting pushed back because of demands in the shipping lanes. I could not get my hands on that pop, unfortunately, but I will be doing a separate video comparing it to this one here, which is the Somewhere in Time Eddie, compared to Stranger in the Strangeland Eddie. Those 2 particular pops will be comparisoned in a separate video at another time. But again, B-roll shot of the chase version right now so you can see what it looks like. If you're not familiar with how I do this sort of video content, I do a full breakdown, which basically means I'm going to talk about the packaging as a whole, and then we'll take everything out of the box and showcase those items. But there was a big change from wave 1 to wave 2, which we're going to showcase in the breakdown segment shortly. Again, let's head to the table now and talk about the breakdown segment. Alright guys, we're in a breakdown segment looking at the Funko Pop Rocks Iron Maiden Wave 2. And the very first thing we do in a breakdown segment is look at the packaging and presentation. I lined them all up side by side so you can see what they look like in one shot. You may want to display it this way, you may not. We had them set vertically, now they're horizontal. Depends on how you want to display these guys. But I'm going to do them one at a time because it's much easier to showcase a single item as opposed to everything at one time. It'll be too busy and too messy. So let's focus on the very first guy right here, which is the Somewhere in Time Eddie, this guy right here. Pop number 248. At the top here we have Pop Rocks, the Iron Maiden logo, pop number 248. Great window box display of Eddie here. He looks really cool in his futuristic tech outfit. Down here you have Somewhere in Time, a great shot of him right there. Over here what it looks like when you take the character out of packaging. Over here we have the words, which is Somewhere in Time Eddie. The back of the packaging, kind of a shot of what the album cover would have looked like, and all 4 of the characters available. Mind you, the Chase one is not listed here. And again, I'll put a picture of the Chase, which shares the same sort of design and buck as this character. It even has 248 for the Chase, which we'll talk about that in a separate video when I get my hands on him. As I mentioned before at the beginning of the video, I could not get the Chase because of shipping demands. It keeps getting pushed back for my pre-order. It's been pushed back, I think, 3 times now. I've been still waiting for my Chase. Unfortunately, I do not have it in hand yet. Again, there'll be a separate video down the road. So pop number 248 rather, of Somewhere in Time Eddie looks great. Next, we'll focus on the Life After Death Eddie. Much bigger bulk design compared to the other one, which you take out of package, which we'll see in a shortly here. Again, Pop Rocks here. We have Iron Maiden pop number 249. Great shot of Eddie here breaking out of his change. Life After Death Eddie right there. A darker blue background, which looks really good. Again, all the characters that are available in the wave minus the Chase. Eddie right there. Great design for this guy. Very similar to, let's say, the wave 1 Eddies we saw, the bigger, bulkier version of Eddie. Very similar, but he does need a figure stand, which we'll talk about that shortly when we take him out of packaging. Next, we have 250, which is a very unique design, the 7th son of a 7th son Eddie, which basically is just the head and the hands with no legs. That's based right off the cover album. That's how he looked on the cover album. We have here Pop Rocks, Iron Maiden, pop number 250. Great design with the flaming hair, which we'll talk about. It was kind of the design to take from, because his hair is on fire. They use something called light piping, which is very similar to Transformers. They do that all the time. I'll showcase off some light piping, the effect, what it looks like with the light behind it, so you can see the glowing effect like it's burning. It looks really, really cool. We have a shot of Eddie, how he looked like out of packaging. Over here we have 7th son of the 7th son Eddie. The back of the packaging, very reminiscent of the cover album they did back for 7th son of the 7th son. All the characters available in that particular wave. Of course, Eddie on fire right there, but looks really awesome. Again, he doesn't have really a figure stand per se, but he's kind of linked to the base, so it looks really cool. Different sort of design compared to all the other characters. Really unique design for Eddie in this one right here. And last but not least, we have Night of the Dead Eddie, pop number 251. We have Pop Rocks right here, Iron Maiden 251 right there. Great design of Eddie. I think out of all of them, this might be my favorite design because he looks really, really cool. Over here, a shot what the character looks like when you take him out of packaging. Over here, Night of the Dead Eddie. Back of the packaging has more of a red and black design deco to it. Again, all the characters in the back right there. Really cool looking version of Eddie here. He has a gun and his cool little wand, which will really showcase that off when you take him out of packaging. Let's bring all the guys back into the shot so you can see them side by side again. So we'll get all these guys out of packaging and continue the breakdown segment. All right, guys, we have our Funko Pop Rocks Iron Maiden Pops out of packaging. Next thing you do to take Pops out of packaging is look at the paint and articulation. But before I get ahead of myself, I really want to talk about the differences between Wave 1 Iron Maiden Pops and Wave 2. What I have right here is the Killer's Eddie, which is the part of the first wave of Iron Maiden Pops. What they did with the first wave of Pops, you had these inserts, these cardboard cutout inserts placed in the back of the packaging here to give this sort of backdrop of the album cover or what it would look like, which is a really cool spooky atmosphere that you can basically use to give this sort of a motif background of your characters so you can put these next to your guys. That was the idea. I think Funko cut these out as a cost-cutting measure where they thought this is a piece of cardboard. It costs too much money to have these added in. This is not included with Wave 2. Just be aware that if you're looking for those backdrops, they are not added to the packaging for these items. That's one thing I want to let you guys know about before I got started. So we have all 4 characters here on my turntable. Again, we'll focus on them one by one. It's much easier to shoot the content that way. We'll start with pop number 248 here, the Somewhere in Time Eddie, and go on from there. So let's start first with him. Again, this is the Somewhere in Time Eddie, which takes liberty. The Chase one gets liberty from this one, so it looks really, really cool. More of a robotic version of Eddie. He looks really neat. He has his skin tone, his skeleton right there. He has a little gun right there. These pieces coming off the top of his head looks really good. This sort of eye sensor right there. Here is articulation. Head will spin 360 with no hindrance. He's not a bobblehead. Great design and deco here. He also has, if you notice, this gun here is pulled out of this holster on his leg or his hip. This one right here, this gun is still in the sheath, which looks really cool. I like the attention to detail right there. It looks really, really nice. But great design by Funko here to really showcase a Somewhere in Time Eddie. Looks really, really amazing. I'm going to put him 360 shot of him so you can see what he looks like. Looks really, really good. Like what they did with this guy. And the Chase one takes liberty from this one, from the Stranger in a Strange Land. Very similar design and deco with the hat here and the different eye patch and a smirk. It looks a little bit different, but same sort of deco and design. Again, 248 looks really amazing. Now let's focus on the next guy here, Life After Death Eddie. Looks really cool, really nice design. Big head, sort of a little body. He does need a figure stand, as you can see right here, a single point figure stand. He has articulation, but because the hair is so large, he can't really spin his head 360. He is sort of snapping his chains, like he's snapping them here. You see this kind of blue plastic in the middle. It's not really like light piping. You kind of a light on it. It doesn't really give the sort of glow that you expect, but neat little design, the blue plastic right there, like he's breaking his chains. He has sort of ripped blue jeans, blue feet. This blue deco and design to him. He has deep sunken eyes, the black behind it, and the white right there. Nice smirk. Like the way he looks. Again, very large head, very small body. He does need a figure stand to stand properly. Again, I'll get 360 shots of all this in B-roll so you see what it looks like. It looks really, really good. Again, Life After Death Eddie, pop number 249. Let's focus now on pop 250, the kind of the oddball of all the characters. This is the seventh son of a seventh son Eddie. His head is on fire right there. As far as light piping, I talked about it before. Does the light piping really work? Not super great. It's okay. It sort of gives you the glow effect kind of coming through. You can see it right there where I shine a light. You can see it kind of glow. That's the effect I was talking about. It looked like his head's on fire. So really neat design choice. I've seen a lot of Transformers do that before in the past. That's sort of the thing they would do with what's called light piping. There is articulation. His head will spin 360. He does have sort of a rubbery kind of feel to him compared to the other pops, mainly because his skeleton is linked to the base, his blue base. He is sort of floating, as you can see here from his skeleton. He's pegged in the back here, so you can't detach him, but he is holding his heart in one hand, which looks really cool. Again, another cool looking eyepiece, very cybernetic looking design. Somewhere, just like this, the Somewhere in Time Eddie has that big optical piece right here. A smaller looking optical piece right here, the red eye. Looks really cool. I like the design. But neat sort of look and feel for the seventh son of a seventh son. This is what he is on the album cover. I've seen that album. I believe I even owned it. But it looks really cool. Again, the head will spin. Kind of gets a little clipped by the heart, as I mentioned here, but really cool design. Love what he looks like. Again, the vertebrae looks really cool. Great attention to detail for Funko here. Like the way this guy looks. Again, you don't get a full body because he is hovering here compared to the other characters, but cool design nonetheless. Out of all the characters, he was my most expensive to purchase on the secondary market. I got him on Amazon. He was like $22. Out of all the characters, he was the most expensive. Next, moving on to the last character, probably my favorite character, which is Night of the Dead Eddie. He looks really, really cool. He has the sunken eyes again. His mouth is open. He's got a pistol in one hand. Again, the sheath right here, the holster is over on this side. He's got this cool looking wand in this hand. Black design, kind of a tuck, like a dress shirt he has on right here. If you look at the top of his head, it looks like part of his head has been blown apart. So again, great attention to detail. Love the design. It looks like basically like his head was, I guess, taken apart right here. There's like a hatch or a clip that maybe his head would spin off. So really cool design. His head does spin 360 if you were curious. He does move around, and it's weird because his head will spin, and if you watch how the head spins here, it spins in a very, very weird angle how he's designed. I've never seen a Funko do that before. The head doesn't spin on your traditional axis. It looks like it spins and rotates down and then goes up. I know it sounds very, very weird. If you can see right here the way it looks, it just looks very, very bizarre how the head is positioned in this design. Very unique feel to this particular pop. Love the way he looks. Again, I'll get some B-roll of this character. Again, he looks really, really great. So let's put all the characters on the platform here so you can see them side by side and on 360. Again, looks really cool. Love the design. If you ask me, Rook, what is my favorite character of them all? Again, probably Night of the Dead Eddie, especially the weird head. I didn't even notice that until I just did it on camera, where you spin the head. It's not your traditional spin. It's unfortunate that the Life After Death Eddie, the head doesn't spin all the way around. It is unfortunate, again, unfortunately. He is very bulky. He does need that figure stand. I tried playing with him a little bit. Without that figure stand, he is extremely back heavy. He will fall backwards. So please be aware of that. That may, in fact, affect how the character stands. So with that being said, guys, let's get these guys back together and conclude in final thoughts for you, the viewers. Okay, guys, final thoughts on the Funko Pop Rocks Iron Maiden Wave 2. Should you buy these items for yourself? For me, it was a no-brainer. I was all in 100%. I got Wave 1. I love Iron Maiden, love Eddie. I love everything to do with Iron Maiden and heavy metal. In general, this was a no-brainer for me. But for you guys, it may be a toss-up. You may not like Eddie. You may not like these particular versions of his character. It may be a pass for you. But for me, it was definitely a purchase 100%. The Seventh Son of the Seventh Son is a little different because we have half a character. That's how he was represented on the album cover. The Night of the Dead Eddie, I like that one the best because he looks to be blown apart. His head spun a little differently compared to other Funko Pops where the head would spin 360 as opposed to a bobblehead. I like his design the best. The Somewhere in Time, of course, we have the Chase version, which will be in the other videos I mentioned earlier. And the Life After Death Eddie, I think it was the weakest of all the characters. You can't turn his head all the way around. You have the cool breaking change with the blue lightning coming between them. But to me, out of all four characters, he is the weakest. To me, Night of the Dead Eddie was the strongest. So that being said, I hope you liked this video review of Wave 2 of the Iron Maiden Pops. Definitely give this video a like at the bottom of the page. Click the subscribe button, which pictures my face, that circle at the bottom of the page. When you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to be notified of latest videos. And of course, last but not least, look at windows over here to watch more of my content. Take care, guys. See you next video, and bye-bye.